We will try not to slip anything by you as you celebrate Cardinals sports. You just might go head over heels for this edition, so don't miss a thing. I said don't miss a thing as you party with us. Sports Night is next.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
I'm Howie Shapiro, and we have some weeks we have long shows, some weeks we have short shows. This happens to be a little shorter
This
tonight.
one's a little bit shorter. Yep. The snow falling, canceling a bunch of events last Tuesday, and also meant we had to postpone our visit with the gymnastics team. We're going to visit with gymnastics and swimming this week. That is the plan, at least at this point. But yeah, only a couple of things, pieces of video, but we will get to the bottom of all Cardinal sports in the next few minutes. We start with the boys hockey team. Cardinals hit the road on Thursday, traveling to take on a tough conference opponent in Rogers. The Royals were 11-0-1 in Northwest Suburban play last season. That includes a 6-1 win over the Cardinals in their only meeting. Cards would need an ace up their sleeve if they hope to turn the table and flush the Royals. You can't get a much quicker start than this off the opening draw. The Royals come with speed and numbers. Durkop makes the initial save, but Sam Rinaldo cashes in on the rebound. They're on the board 11 seconds into the game. Cardinals able to answer. They force the action in deep, get it back to the far point. Shot hits traffic, but right to Tyler Barsness. He puts it to the back of the net. Game tied at 1, just 2 minutes off the clock. Unfortunately, the ice tilts heavily in the home team's favor for the rest of the night. Gorgeous passing play right there. Dawson Jensen finishes at the back post. And they were dominant in the second period, putting 32 shots on goal in the middle frame. They cashed in 4 times. Another pretty passing play leads to a redirect for Parker Duchesne. That makes it a 3-goal lead. Cardinals cave to the constant pressure. A turnover on the breakout. Royals get it to Jensen down low. He gets his second goal of the night. They had one more in the final minute of that second period. Again, Cardinals turn it over on a breakout. Drew Kreckleberg takes it to the slot, and that's his second of the night. It was 6-1 Rogers after 2. They cruise to the 7-2 win.
Well, 65 shots on goal for Rogers. That's incredible, and obviously the Cardinals just couldn't get things going that night. But give credit to Rogers; they did a really nice job, especially in that second period, capitalizing on all those shots.
Well, the Cardinals, if they were frustrated, they took out any frustrations they had on Saturday night when they hosted Northern Edge, 16-1. There you see it. Eli Bowden leading the way with 7 points. Tyler Barsness had 6. So did Ben Kish. 4 goals apiece for Bowden and Barsness. A hat trick for Tyson. 4 short-handed goals.
That's incredible. That's an incredible number
for the Coon Rapids Cardinals. 2 of them on the same penalty, I think, early in the third period, and they just absolutely buried Northern Edge. But that's the hard thing about getting some of those lower level teams on your schedule is then you have to turn around and play a team like Rogers.
Exactly.
Cardinals are on the road at Waconia tomorrow. Waconia only had, I think, 4 or 5 wins last year, but they've started strong. I think they're like 4-1 or something to start the year. So that'll be a good test. But the real test, big games Thursday, Friday at home against Champlain Park, and then at Duluth East.
It's a busy
on Friday.
Busy schedule.
Yeah, the girls hockey team, after they had a little bit of time off, boy, did they bounce back, facing one of the top teams in Single A in the state of Minnesota. I think Proctor Hermantown was a preseason number 2. The Bluebirds took care of business 5-2, the final in their victory. Maddie Wastrel, star of the game, made 29 saves on 31 shots. Freshman Sydney Bernovic had 2 goals. Brooklyn Johnson had 2 assists. Goals for Kylie Scott, Ketting, and Zahalka, all getting on the score sheet. And then the very next day, on Saturday, they went to Osseo Park Center and put up a 5-spot again. Lily McKenzie, 2 goals and an assist. Cam Singh, 1 of each. Brooklyn Johnson, 1 of each. Cam Wastrel, not nearly as busy, made 15 saves, gave up 1 goal. as they improve to 4-3.
Well, and you brought to my attention something I had missed, a nice little article on the Girls Hockey Hub about the Bluebirds' win over Proctor Hermantown. That was a nice little article to read, especially when they came in. Proctor Hermantown is such a high rating in 1A, and really nice for the Bluebirds to get that kind of a win.
Yeah, and they said exactly what they were saying to us in the preview. We're a gritty team. We're going to stay on you, and it's going to pay off. The tests keep coming. They host Rogers on Tuesday at the Coon Rapids Ice Center, and then they travel to take on the Wayzata Trojans on Saturday.
Well, the wrestling team started its schedule with a flurry. They were in Woodbury for a quad on Thursday, then hosted the board duels on Saturday. That's 5 matches in just over 48 hours, and the Cardinals have a lot to be excited about. This team proved its mettle right away, taking 2 of the 3 on Thursday in a quad that featured some very tough competition. First up is Rosemont. Jack Bridenstine starts the season ranked 8th at 106. He's on the mat at 113 against the Irish, moving up the class. No problem for the sophomore. Bridenstine securing this pin in the first period. Unfortunately, Rosemont won the next 6 matches with plenty of bonus points. Junior captain Carter Skradsky stops the bleeding at 160. Great toss to gain control. He gets the pin in just 42 seconds, the first of 3 straight for the Cards, but their comeback falls short. They lose 47-30. Up next is Irondale Spring Lake Park, and the Cards lead start to finish. Bernard Mua on the mat at 132. For the Cards, he uses the headlock to get one of team's 6 pins in the match, still a close one, 16-9 at that point. Cardinals knew the upper weights would be their strength this season. The big Cards flexed their muscles in the opener. Senior captain Hunter Allen had pins in all 3 of his matches at 170. Cards beat Irondale SLP 44-26. Cards finish against the host from Woodbury. Junior captain Kenny Wells also had pins in all 3 matches. This one at 195 pounds keeps his hopes alive against the Royals. Nathan Caminetti on the mat next. Great job getting his man to his back at 220. He'll go chest to chest to earn the slap on the mat. That tied it at 36. And Woodbury would have to forfeit the heavyweight division, giving the Cards the 42-36 win.
Yeah, they're going to need a lot of those comeback-style victories because they're not as strong. But they are seeing some young guys who have done some nice things. A lot of those lower weight classes, guys getting their first win in their first couple of matches. Zhang took the 106 spot. Yep. Bridenstine moved up. As we get closer, we'll see where Bridenstine, where they decide to use his skill, because he's skilled enough to move up even a couple of weight classes. On Saturday, one of their biggest events of the year, the 21st annual Bob Board Duels at the Fieldhouse, and they never shy away from bringing in very tough competition. Unfortunately, they're on the losing end of both of their matches, 49-21 at the hands of Park of Cottage Grove and 54-18 to Owatonna. There's some of the guys who have been out to a great start. Hunter Allen, 5-0 with 5 pins at 170. Skradsky is 4-0 with 3 pins and a 14-13 win over the number 6 ranked wrestler on that Park team. Bridenstine 4-1 with 3 pins at 113, and Hayden Skilling's doing the same at heavyweight. They have another tri-meet coming up next week. This week they host Andover on Thursday, and Howie,
we'll be there.
Then next week they have a tri-meet. They're taking on Elk River and Two Rivers on Friday, and then we'll have the Monticello Invite, which is an individual tournament on Saturday. Gymnastics team got its season started last week against Centennial. They came out on the losing side of the score, but feel pretty good because that score is right kind of where they had left off last season. They'd love to be up into those 120s or 130s like Centennial, but they'll take this as a good starting point. Ada Drummy led the team in every event. She was 4th place in the vault and the beam. Those were her best finishes. Cecilia O'Reilly was 5th place in, I think, 3 of the 4 events. And Lily Newton also factored in with a 7th place finish on bars. As I mentioned, we hope to speak with them this week.
Yep.
And then I lost their upcoming schedule, but they have other events. They have another event coming up on Friday this week, I'm pretty certain. Swimming and diving team starts its season with the Northwest Suburban Conference Relays on Saturday. They'll be at Park Center next Thursday for their first duel of the year. The Nordic ski team was supposed to start last week, but the 50-degree weather knocked it out, and then Tuesday brought them a whole bunch of new snow to play in.
Right.
And they are on tap to be at Highland with about half of the Northwest Suburban Conference on Wednesday. They'll be at Elm Creek next week. Alpine, still a couple of weeks out. They have their first race on December the 20th. Well, the boys basketball team got its season started with a super exciting seesaw battle on the field house floor on Friday night. Cardinals hosting section rival Forest Lake, a matchup with a tradition of epic battles, both early in the season and in playoffs. This one was exactly what you might expect, a back-and-forth battle to the final buzzer. Cardinals get up early thanks to 3 early three-pointers. Jackson Young hits from the corner. Coon Rapids out to an 11-2 lead. But then the teeter tottered. The Rangers' 2 big men both had a field day. Owen Waldock's finishing close, part of a 15-2 Forest Lake run. Cardinals defense forced 39 turnovers in the game. Kenny Jones securing this one, and it leads to another three-pointer. Jackson Hetwer from the left wing this time, part of a 15-0 Coon Rapids run. But the Rangers get the final upswing of the first half, outscoring the Cardinals 14-1 in the final 5 minutes. Braden Turk's dunk gave them a 35-34 lead at the break. Forest Lake pushed the lead to 11 early in the second, then the Cardinals turned the tide again. Kenny Jones jumps the lane for one of his 5 steals. He added 10 points off the bench. Cummings Coleman, slowed by foul trouble in the first half, comes up big when his team needs him most. Starts with the strip, finishes with the flush. That put the Cardinals back in front. Next possession, and watch the play by Raymond Bennett. C-squared pokes it free. Bennett grabs it, spins, and flings it to the other end. Cummings Coleman lays it in. Another 15-0 run for the Birds, put them in the lead for good. Cummings Coleman scored the last 8 Cardinals points and had 13 of his team-high 18 in the second half, leading the squad to the 62-55 victory.
There are so many positives that you can point out in this game for the Cardinals. Well, you know, we'll talk. I'll touch on a couple of them. First of all, the defense played really well.
Really well.
And the fact that they lacked the size on the inside, they made up for it from their pressure around those bigs. Sure, did they give those 2 bigs a lot of points? Most of their points came from those 2 bigs.
I think 45 of their 52 or something like that.
You can talk about C-squared because he's a phenomenal athlete and he led the way. But I really was impressed with Kenny Jones coming off the bench, as you mentioned, scoring 10 points, earning that start in the second half. I believe it was they have starting a new tradition with the black jersey. I believe this year for the basketball team, Kenny Jones has earned that, and he gets to wear it all week. And it's about the player that hustles the most. And
as long as he washes it before the next guy. Well, Cardinals. We talked about it in in the boys hockey schedule, putting the softer schedule together. Can do good things, can be bad. Cardinals, these next couple of games, they have to look at this week as 2 long road trips.
Yeah.
But they have to come away with 2 wins. They're at Apple Valley on Tuesday, at Burnsville on Thursday.
Tough ones.
The 2 teams combined, I think, had 8 wins last year. So the Cardinals, with that level of competition, have to go down there and secure at very least 1 or 2.
You know, and surprisingly, a team like Apple Valley having an off year because they've traditionally had such a powerful basketball program. So
they had a couple of players that were pretty exceptional.
A couple of the Jones brothers, they were awfully good. But the fact that they can go down and if they can get a couple of wins on the road against Apple Valley and Burnsville, that'll be huge for this program.
Yeah, I think before they get into the intense competition they'll face night in and night out in the conference play, they need to try and cash in on the non-conference games. Girls basketball team started its season with a trip to my alma mater, Minneapolis Southwest, and they came out on the short end, 69-52, but they led late in the first half and trailed by just 1 point at halftime. So a good start, a number of different players contributed. Bierman and Smith each leading the way with 9 points. Beck, 7 points, 9 boards, had a couple of steals as well. Green had 6 points, and so did Schmidt. So, balanced scoring definitely looks good. Did not look as good on Saturday, a rough one against Mounds View. Have not had a chance to talk to Coach Bierman after that one, but 85-28 they fall at the hands of the Mustangs. Casey Beck had 11 points to lead the way in the loss. But we will, as we talked about, get a chance to talk to Coach Bierman and see this team firsthand on Tuesday when they host Elk River.
Yeah, and that should be fun. And Elk River obviously presents a challenge, and so this is a growing program. Quite obviously, we had a chance to talk to Coach Bierman before the boys' game on Friday night, and he's excited for the start to this season. He knows he's got a lot of challenges lying in front of him, but he thinks that the girls are buying into what he's talking about, and hopefully by the end of the season, this will be a little different of a basketball squad.
Well, they've got back-to-back tough ones this week, hosting Elk River on Tuesday and Champlain Park on Friday. As we talked about, we'll be there for the girls' basketball game live at 7 o'clock on CTN. Wrestling live at 7 o'clock against Andover on Thursday. We'll see the boys' basketball team again next Tuesday when they host the Falcons from Armstrong. But that's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Tom Cornell behind the camera and Howie Shapiro to my right, I'm Joe Young saying good night.